That would be an
Agreed.
interesting fight. But
Agreed. And to your point, I saw people in boxing, when that fight seemed to actually was going to happen, start hedging their bets. Well, Fury isn't this, Tommy isn't that. I don't buy any of that. I think Tommy is absolutely a legitimate boxing opponent for Jake Paul.
Entertain this perspective. If Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul, if he wasn't this YouTube guy, he was just a boxer, and you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever, knock him out with one punch like that, you'd be like, oh, man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's fucking for real. Because nothing about watching him fight, to me, screams like he's in over his head. Nothing. He looks like a real boxer. He looks like a real boxer. He doesn't look like a guy who's attempting boxing. That's the difference. The feints, the foot movement, the way he lands shots. He fights like a boxer. He doesn't fight like a guy who's trying to box in a celebrity boxing match. He fights like a boxer.
No, because
if he wasn't that guy, I'm saying if he wasn't that big YouTube star, and you just saw him as a boxing contender, you'd be like, that dude's got dynamite in his hands.
Okay, so there's 2 points to be made here. First of all, if a guy in his pro debut and the first 5 fights of his career are knocking out people whose names we know, you're absolutely right. That person is going to get a huge amount of attention, and everybody's going to be like, wow, who the fuck is this guy? But also, if a guy who is on the track to be somebody, who has like, potential from the Olympics, or he's got a great amateur record, we're going to turn this guy into somebody. In their first fights, they're fighting guys who are like 5 and 27. They are fighting other debut opponents who don't have a great track trajectory in front of them. They're fighting tomato cans, bums, just completely not competitive opponents.
Just to get experience.
And that's fine, right? Yeah. So when we expect a Jake Paul to be fighting like higher level competition, it's not because he has under 10 fights. It's because he talks a lot of shit.
Yeah, but that's also why we're talking about him.
And that's exactly true. But I think on both sides of the equation, we've got to admit that a young fighter under 5 fights isn't fighting great competition. So if you're calling Jake Paul a legitimate boxer and then you're expecting him to do what legitimate boxers do, I'm not sure he's not doing that, and probably more.